Mic check. What's kicking, family? I'm glad you've clicked in so I can check in with you. All right, Mr. Batch wants to kick it about the divisional games which had already come and passed, and that's in the NFL. What we've got the conference championships. Excuse me for drooling a little bit. The conference championships coming up this weekend. Let me weigh in with my 2 cents on the division games. You had New Orleans versus the Arizona Cardinals, and the Cardinals really didn't show up for that game. No ground game, no Anquan Bolden. They locked down Fitzgerald. He was able to get his from time to time. The other receivers were letting him down and not catching those balls, the pills that were thrown to them from Warner, who I feel is the first ballot Hall of Famer. That's when you need Anquan Bolden. But Bolden is always hurt, always injured. Very sad to say, if he's going to be your #1 receiver, then he's got to be on the field all the time. Now, when it comes to the other receivers, they should have did what they had to do and make those catches. And on top of that, the defense had to step up, which didn't step up. And I knew it was going to be a high-scoring game, and that's what it turned out to be. Now, for the New Orleans Saints, now those guys had lost a few games coming down the end of the season. They were clicking, and then had a few hiccups, and now here they are. They were able to take out the Cardinals, hit their stride, get back on track again, feel real good, got back into their rhythm. Arizona defense, yeah, for the Saints, it wasn't too much of a test. This week coming up against the Vikings is going to be a real test, and you'll see that. You'll hear and see what I have to say in my other video concerning that. Then we had the Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings. One thing I loved seeing the Cowboys get waxed. Payback for 1975, I guess, and also they remember the 7-for-1 trade for Herschel Walker, which gave them a few starters, a couple of Pro Bowls, also helped them build their dynasty, the little mini dynasty with the big three. So there you have it. I'm glad that they got their butt kicked. Too bad for the Cowboys. They should have stopped them. 2 minutes left. They sit his Bush League with Brett Favre scoring with 2 minutes remaining. If that's the case, then you need to stop them. They're professional ball players. They get paid to play. It's not like college where you're talking about the how shall I say, the sportsmanship and the development of young men. Now you're in the pros, you get paid to play. And I believe that with Flozell Adams taking an early lead, he's a little piece of chicken, ain't he? Because look, Flozell Adams is the same man that caused Justin Tuck with a crazy-ass move that he did illegal, caused Tuck to wear a harness for the entire year, play one-armed. Come to find out now, Tuck's got to get surgery. So when I'm looking at it like that, you cost the Giants a man who could have, really done something, and then y'all getting beat up, and y'all didn't stop the man who was doing that to you. So you know what, Cowboys, too bad, because the Giants sucked it up, and Justin Tuck sucked it up, and he went out there and he played every day. He wasn't running to the sideline. He took care of what was in between the lines, and that goes to prove right there that I'm glad that they let Wade Phillips his job back. I don't think they're going to be too much progressing any further than what they have now. Tony Romo has his win now after 6 years in the league. He's finally got his win in the playoffs, but he hasn't gotten to the next level. The Minnesota Vikings came out there like barn burners. They've been undefeated at home all year, and they proved it against the Cowboys. There was a lot of talk of Cowboys this, the Cowboys that, their defensive line this, their defensive line that. The first play that the Minnesota Vikings threw for a touchdown in the hands of Rice, defensive back was there, running stride for stride with him into the end zone. Then he finally realized he had the football. Duh! You guys are not really concentrated, looking beyond the game. Then did you guys see that shot on the sideline between Wade Phillips and the defensive coordinator going back and forth? They looked just as confused as the rest of the team. And that was a snapshot, microcosm of the entire day for the Dallas Cowboys. Then you had the Indianapolis Colts against the Baltimore Ravens. Ray Rice, commendable. You got here, kid. hats off to you. Unfortunately, you can't put the ball on the rug. On top of that, the Baltimore Ravens have to capitalize on when they get a turnover. The Ed Reed turnover, scampering up the sidelines, the receiver chases behind him, knocks the ball out. Another interception they had was called back because of a penalty. How do you expect to win like that? Flacco couldn't throw. What happened to the other quarterbacks that they have on their roster? If that's the case, the guy can't really throw. You're going to really put a hurt guy out there? What, he's that much better than your other quarterbacks? Wow. That's saying a lot, huh? But that's what happened. Indianapolis came out from the bye. They won. Not a real ground game, but with Peyton Manning, 4-time MVP, what do you expect? You don't expect that to happen. Now, excuse me, guys. And last but not least was the game against the Chargers versus the New York Jets, and that's the game that I lost on that weekend because I took all the home teams, except for the I took all the home teams, and the Chargers let me down. Chargers were winning in December over the last couple of years. They won 11 straight. They were coming into the playoffs. They had the better team. Everything was rolling in their favor, and I was going to go with them. Why? Because they were the better team, and you know, you got to be practical. You know, I mean, it's come to a point, you know, homerism gets to a certain point. But this was a football game. I was looking to pick the game, and I picked the Chargers, and I was dead wrong. Phillip Rivers couldn't do nothing. You let the Jets stay in the game at 7-0 at the half, which I tell you right then and there, you should never do, because you give a player a fighting chance, especially a Rex Ryan team. You see how he has his teams. He had the team in Baltimore fired up. He's got the Jets fired up. They came out. Oh, interesting. Let me give you these guys this tidbit. I listened to a podcast of Boomer and Carton from WFAN, and they had Phil Simms on. Boomer and Carton is not my favorite morning show. I can do without that Carton cat. Boomer Science, and he's all right, but that's that college shtick stuff I'm not into too much, you know. But I did download the podcast of Phil Simms appearing on this show, and he had mentioned that he knows Rex Ryan from college. Rex Ryan was on the coaching staff at Morehead State when he was there, and he says this guy motivates people to run through walls. I'm telling you. So that's a first hand, and wow, you see how things work out here, how tricky things are, and you know how small of a world it is. When Phil Simms talked about Rex Ryan from Phil Simms' college days, ooh, nearly. But let's continue with the Jets Chargers. The Chargers, y'all messed up, man. I took y'all. I figured y'all were the better team. You know, New York Jets. We were going in there, you know, play the best that we can, you know, have a puncher's chance. But once it was 7-0 at the half, that's a puncher's chance. You messed up. No ground game. But Daniel Tomlinson, see, I'm not going to call him LT, but I'm sorry I made that mention of LT. The LT I know of, he gets to put HOF next to his signature when he signs anything, and the number 56. So now LT has to take a back seat. I think he needs to retire altogether. He's got to go. The young man was unable to produce any yardage. What, 12 carries, 24 yards. Then you had Sproles. Sproles couldn't do anything whatsoever. And then they didn't even want to throw the ball to Sproles. So what were they doing? They were not aware of how they were supposed to attack this, and they didn't even do it correctly. Due to the fact, where was Sean Merriman? Sean Merriman was nowhere to be found. I'm telling you, that's a sad state. Then you guys turned around after the game and gave North Turner a 3-year extension. I feel sorry for the Chargers. It's unfortunate that my man Kyle Orton, who owns YouTube, was all over you cats, blasting you, and rightfully so. You guys should have took it, but you didn't. You were exposed. And I'm looking forward to this week coming up due to the fact that I'm going to check out my man Speak Freak 1087 and the Minnesota Crews and what they have to say as far as their videos coming up for this contest. And then I'm also going to check out DZ, hope I said that right, family, 2545. You know, he's a big-time Saints fan. I'm telling you, my man represents his team tonight. I'm going to check him out and Who Dat Nation and what they got to say. This is going to be an interesting week, y'all. This is Mr. Batch. I'm out of here like I stole something. Peace.